Hi, my name is Jim Leeson and welcome to Jimbo's Kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you the recipe that I used to make my grandmother's apple turnovers. Grandma Gopsill was a fantastic baker and she would make these every holiday, usually Christmas and Thanksgiving. These turnovers were rated by an independent testing group to be 99% as good as Grandma's originals, but I think that rating is a little bit high. I would rate them about 98%. But they're still pretty darn good. Start with 1 stick of cold butter cut into cubes. So we're going to put into a food processor 1 1/4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then we're going to pulse this just to combine it. We're going to scatter the cubed butter over the flour and pulse it until it gets kind of coarse and grainy. A little bit more. Quarter cup of sour cream, and then we're going to pulse that. Till it just begins to cling together. Test it, you can press it together with your fingers and it should stick together. Now we're going to turn the dough into a bowl and work it together to form a ball. So you'll end up with a ball like this. You're going to flatten it out a little bit. And then you're going to wrap it in plastic wrap. So then we'll put our dough in the middle of a piece of plastic wrap and flatten it down real good. And then we'll put that in the fridge and let it rest for at least an hour. So before you start to roll out your dough, you're going to need a template. This is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches, and this is just something that I got in the mail that I used as the cardstock. Just cut it square so you can fold it over into a triangle. It's okay to use a canned apple filling from the grocery store, since that's what Grandma Gopsill used to use. But I do like to cut the pieces of apple down into small chunks because they get lumpy in the turnovers if you don't do that. They're too big. I like to add a little bit of cinnamon. This is the cinnamon that I use, and probably half a teaspoon or whatever. But I just mix that in real good. That's our filling all ready to go. Okay, so now it's time to roll out the dough. You want a little bit of flour, probably too much, on the board. And then I cut them into smaller pieces and then wrap it up so it doesn't dry out. So you want to roll this out till it's just bigger than your template. And then I like to use a pastry cutter to trim the edge. And then it helps to use the pastry cutter to transfer this to the parchment paper since it likes to stick. The only way I know how to explain the thickness that they are is to weigh them. So at the 4 1/4 inches, they weigh 1 ounce each. Okay, now we're going to do the filling and folding. I'm going to put about 1.5 tablespoons of filling on. Not too much, otherwise they'll burst. I'm going to get it in a little bit of a triangle shape for when you fold it over. And then you want to put a little egg wash on the edges to seal it. And then we're going to fold it over. Make sure they line up. Press some of the air out. Make it a little filling too, which hopefully doesn't cause a big problem. And then we're gonna seal the edges with a fork. Brush with egg wash, kind of keep it light. This helps them to brown. It's too much. And then sprinkle with turbinado sugar. You can also use sugar in the raw that you can steal from your local diner. Okay, so these went into a 400-degree oven and baked for about 25 minutes. Make sure that you don't forget to cut the holes in the top to let the steam out. There's 3 holes you just cut with a paring knife. Okay, so here's the finished product. The dough recipe made 10 turnovers, and I had enough dough left over. I probably could have stretched it to 12. And you'll also have a lot of the filling left over and egg wash too. So I hope you'll make these and I hope you enjoy them. Thanks for watching.